Hello, BookTube. As I mentioned earlier, my reading plans for this week have not turned out how I had hoped at all. And that's left me with a few days of not really knowing what to do. I'm not entirely sure if I'll be reading anything on Thursday, Thanksgiving here in the United States, because depending on the weather, I might be over at my brother's celebrating the holiday. And then on Friday, I will start a new book during my regular reading period, which means I'll do weekly reads in the early afternoons, like I do most of the rest of the week. And so today and tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure what to do. One thought I had was to read some of the poetry I'll be hauling this month, which I did on Sunday. Again, weekly reads will be quite ranty. And I decided today to do a variation on try a chapter. So I basically gathered all of the cookbooks I have in my Amazon wish lists. So I have two wish lists on Amazon, one of which is actually I have more than two, but for bookish purposes, I have two. One of which is the Wishlist Prime, the general everybody's wish list, which is populated mostly by fiction, science fiction and fantasy, some manga, and the occasional nonfiction that slips by me. Most of the nonfiction is in my research wish list, which I created to list all of the books that I wanted to pick up for research purposes. And so that's where most of the nonfiction is, except for those that do slip by me, or my art books and cookbooks, which I put into the wish list. So I went and gathered all of the cookbooks that I'm pretty sure I got all of them from my wish list and dipped into them. And I'm going to talk about them for a bit, discuss which ones I want to keep in my wish list to eventually pick up, and I'm going to send the rest of them. I'll delete them from my card and my wish list. So that's the plan. So now I'm going to start with that. So let's get going. So first up is Evolving Vegan by Mina Masood. It's a cookbook dedicated to vegan cuisine and inspired by a number of, I think, vegan-centric restaurants. Mina Masood is an actor most famous for playing the live-action Aladdin. I'm tempted, but I think I'm ultimately going to pass. And I will also be passing on The Mosquito Supper Club by Melissa M. Martin. This is a Cajun cuisine cookbook that didn't really show me much of the preview that I saw. Although that said, cookbook previews tend to be very disappointing because they give you the beginning of the book, and that does feature the introduction, but when it comes to evaluating whether or not you want to pick up a cookbook, the introduction I don't think is really all that helpful. It's better to have like some of the standard preparatory chapters and more of the recipes to really better evaluate. But moving on, I'm also thinking probably I had this one book called Khazana, a treasure trove of Indo-Persian recipes inspired by the Mughals by Saliha Mahmoud Ahmed that I will be passing on. Baking with Dory, Sweet, Salty, and Simple by Dory Greenspan. I'm so tempted to add this to the cookbooks that I want eventually. And I saw a really cool review of the book by Lindy Magpie Reads that I thought was phenomenal. She does a number of cookbook reviews, and I highly recommend them. And I'm tempted, but I already have too many baking and dessert-oriented cookbooks, and even though I do have a massive sweet tooth, do I really need more? Another one that I think I will be removing is Mooncakes and Milk Bread, Sweet and Savory Recipes Inspired by Chinese Bakeries by Christina Cho. This is a baking book centered on Chinese and Asian bakeries, and I think I'll pass on this one too. Similar to Baking with Dory is the book on pie, Everything You Need to Know to Bake Perfect Pies by Erin Jean McDowell. I'm so tempted, but again, I already have two baking dessert oriented, well, no, three. Do I really need a fourth? No, I don't. Iton Eats the World New Comfort Classics to Cook Right Now, a cookbook by Iton Bernath. I think I'm going to pass on this. I know he's a wonderkin young chef, but no. And two more that I'm going to be getting rid of, or, well, removing from our wish list. Not getting rid of, because obviously I don't have any of them. I've been thinking about picking them up. Are two books on ice cream. The Salt and Straw Ice Cream Cookbook by Tyler Malik and Rose's Ice Cream Bliss by Rose Levy Berenbaum. As much as I eat ice cream, and my mom loves ice cream, I've often thought about getting an ice cream maker and making it ourselves, or myself. But no, I don't really need an ice cream cookbook. Another cookbook I'm thinking about deleting from my wish list, or I'm pretty sure I will, is I Dream of Dinner So You Don't Have to by Ali Slagle. This is one of the cookbooks from Food 52, and I dipped into it and I wasn't really all that impressed. Coming back to Erin Jean McDowell, her latest is Savory Baking, Recipes for Breakfast, Dinner, and Everything in Between. Again, do I really need another baking-centric cookbook? No, I don't. So, the last of the cookbooks that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be removing, and this one's a heartbreaker, but I think I'm going to remove the Big Texas Cookbook by the editors of Texas Monthly. I am interested. I am a Texan, and I am rather interested in quite a lot of things Texan, including Texan cuisine. And so when I heard that Texas Monthly was coming out with a cookbook, I thought it would be awesome. But I've dipped into it, and I'm really not that. No, I don't think so. About the only thing that I saw in the preview that I would be interested in would be the fried catfish. So there's really a few recipes I would be interested in, but no, maybe I would keep it. I think I'll keep it. So okay, I'm talking myself into keeping it. I'm getting rid of so many. I could easily get rid of the keep it. Okay. So and then that leaves me with a bit of a conundrum because I have 4 Japanese cookbooks on here too that I'm not entirely sure which one I should keep or eventually pick up. I mean, I do have a dedicated Japanese cookbook already in my collection, but I would like to add another one. So the 4 are Japanese Home Cooking by Sonoko Sakai, and Japanese Soul Cooking by Tadashi Ono, um, Simply Japanese by Mayori Murata, which came out this year, and Mastering the Art of Japanese Home Cooking by Masaharu Morimoto, who was one of the Iron Chefs. And I think of the 4, I'm thinking I might stick with, I guess I could keep Simply Japanese and Mastering the Art of Japanese Home Cooking by Morimoto. I think I'll keep those 2. And then so that leaves me with the other cookbooks that I'm pretty sure I want to keep in my wish list for eventual picking up. First up is Korean American by Eric Kim. I waffled about this one, but I think I would like to have it eventually. That Sounds So Good by Carla Lely Music. I've looked. She's cooked some of the recipes from this book on her YouTube channel, and I really like what I've seen, so I definitely want to pick this up. What's for Dessert by Claire Saffitz. This is a follow-up to her first cookbook, Dessert Person, and while I've said I don't really need another dessert or baking-centered cookbook, I mean, I already have the first book, so I could do with the sequel. I'm also really tempted to pick up, eventually, Cook This Book by Molly Baz. She's cooked some of her recipes from this book on her own YouTube channel that I quite liked, so it might be cool to pick it up eventually. And finally, I really want to pick up The Cook You Want to Be by Indy Baragani. I've been thinking about picking up this cookbook for a while, and I probably would have if my November book haul wasn't so massive. I call it the birthday book haul of madness, and that's what it is. Anyway, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm pretty much going to keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cookbooks, I think. And I'll pick some of those up, and I might eventually decide to send or remove some of them also from my wish list, depending how things turn out. But I think that's pretty good. Try a chapter tag, because I did manage to clear quite a bit of from my wish list, so it's all positive. So yeah, anyway, BookTube, that's all I got for this evening. Thank you. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow with my top 10 superheroes and supervillains, and maybe another video if I decide to do another try chapter tag with another focus on nonfiction, since this is Nonfiction November. Or I might just decide to read some poetry. I don't know. Anyway, BookTube, I will see you tomorrow, so stay safe.